Hey everyone, today is day 134 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked 27.2 miles to a campsite that looked to be beautiful till you got into it and realized it was filled with cow poop. So it was kind of late. I ended up setting up camp down from the campsite a little bit. I didn't want my gear to smell like cow poop. It smelled like a barnyard there. And while I was setting up my tent, I was putting in the last tent stake and using a rock to hammer it in. And somehow I got my finger between the rock and the tent stake and took a huge chunk of skin off my finger. So now it's all wrapped up. Of course, the gauze is turning black already because it's nasty and dirty out here. But I cleaned it with hand sanitizer, put a bunch of antibiotic ointment on it, and I'm going to do that again tonight. And then I will be in town tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be taking a zero, so I'll be there for 2 days. So I'm hoping I can keep it clean enough for those 2 days that it heals enough that it's not a problem when I get back on trail, that it doesn't get infected. Otherwise, today I'm hoping to get 25 miles or so, but I'm getting a late start to the day, so that might not happen. And then tomorrow I will be headed into Ashland, Oregon. Yesterday, despite the fact that the day before was so hot that we couldn't even hike, yesterday ended up being cool. And then last night got down to freezing. I actually had frost on my tent this morning, and now it's cold. I did go up in elevation, but that's a pretty major swing from 100 degrees to 32 degrees. So I don't know what's going on with the weather. It wasn't in the forecast. Actually, the forecast said it was supposed to get warmer. So I was expecting what we've been getting, which was like 80s, low 80s during the day and like maybe 50, 60 at night. But yeah, a big wind came through, lots of clouds, and it got really cold. It was probably in the 40s by the time I even got to camp last night. So I'm wearing literally everything I have clothing wise except for my extra like socks, underwear, sports bra. So all of the winter gear that I had sent home a couple 100 miles ago, and now I'm wishing I had it. But I think this is going to be really short-lived, and I'd rather not carry all that extra weight if I don't need it and if I'm not going to use it. So hopefully today it's supposed to be, I think, in the 70s with a low of like 45 or 48, which is so much better than what it was yesterday and last night. So hopefully that's where we go weather-wise, and I won't need to have my gear sent right back out to me after I just sent it home. So there's an old cabin right along the side of the trail. It's actually on my map as cabin remains, but based on the road, somebody still comes here. Whether or not they stay might be a different story. Donmore Cabin, 1925. Oh, 1935. With a new deck. New-ish. Definitely not as old as the cabin. Huh. Wonder if we can go inside. Might not be able to do this with one hand. This is the view from the cabin into the meadow, Donmore Meadow. And descendants of the families that built this cabin still have cattle in the area, grazing on these lands. And I got the door kind of open. Interesting. There's a creepy stuffed something. Beaver. Okay. Oh boy. A record book. Bunch of random stuff. There's a ladder. I don't know how safe this is. Oh boy. An attic that I do not feel comfortable stepping into. Interesting. It's been 134 days. Finally walking out of California. That's it. 958 miles to go. California is... So, I'm officially in Oregon. Sayonara, California. Hello, Oregon. Less than 1,000 miles to go until the terminus, until Canada. It feels good. Took a long time. Hey everyone, today is day 134 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked 24.7 miles. I got a pretty late start to the day, didn't leave camp until like 8 or 8:30, and then hiked to the California-Oregon border. So I'm finally done with California. I'm finally in Oregon. I also have less than 1,000 miles to go, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah, and then hiked the rest of the day around a lot of the same people I've been hiking with. We're all headed into Ashland, Oregon today or last night. I'm going to take a 0 tomorrow in Ashland and get all my town chores done and everything, hopefully today, and hit the trail again on Monday morning. Hi everyone, today is day 136 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked 5.2 miles into Callahan's Resort. I got there quite early in the morning and nothing would have been open in Ashland, so I decided to have some breakfast. While I was eating breakfast, a gentleman approached me, introduced himself to me, and asked me if I needed a ride anywhere. Easiest hitch ever. I wasn't even looking for a hitch yet. Even though I would have been at some point. He explained that he and his wife had been backpacking and decided to stay at Callahan's before going home, and he had attempted a through hike of the PCT in 2015 and had been helped by so many people along the way that he's been trying to give back. So anytime he sees a hiker, he offers to help in whatever way he can. So he offered me a ride, and after I'd finished breakfast, he and his wife gave me a ride to Ashland and dropped me off at the hotel I was hoping to stay at, where it was only like 10 o'clock in the morning, and they said they couldn't get me into a room until 3. When I asked if I could get into a room just a little bit earlier, the owner happened to be walking into the lobby, and he just handed me a key and said, you know, the room is empty. We didn't have anyone in it last night. It's ready for you. You can check in and just come back to pay later on so we don't charge you an extra night. So I managed to get into my room really early so I could shower and get started on my town chores, and got all of my town chores done yesterday. And then today I was able to talk to family and friends, relax a little bit, and just kind of take care of a couple of other odds and ends, emails, phone calls, working on ordering a new pair of shoes. I need some new trekking poles because the tips are breaking and so are the cork handles. So I was just working on all of those things and organizing my gear, cleaning it, and organizing my next resupplies, which I had purchased yesterday. So yeah, I just had a really productive day yesterday and then a nice restful day today. And tomorrow I'm going to be heading back out on the trail after going to both the post office and the UPS store because my next resupply will take a post office drop, but the following resupply only takes UPS. So I'll be going to the post office and the UPS store in the morning before getting back on trail. I have not figured out how I'm getting back to the trail, but hopefully it'll work its way out and I will figure out a way back to the trail in good time. And then just start heading north again. The struggles that I've had this last section would definitely be fatigue. I had gone, after counting up all of my days, I'd gone 16 days without a zero, if I counted it correctly. 16 days without a zero. That's a long time. Some of those days were short, like I had a 4.1 mile day, so I did have a couple of Neros even in that section, but I think 16 days was too long for me. As I was hiking into Sayad Valley, I got so exhausted that I legitimately was falling asleep while walking into a dream sleep, a deep dream sleep. What would wake me up would be tripping on a rock or stepping off the side of the trail. It's really dangerous. I would stop, take a break, eat a snack, put in my headphones, do whatever I could to occupy my brain to keep me going. I was going to camp early that day because I was just so tired, but then the smoke started building up so bad, and we haven't had smoke for several days. So I was concerned there was a new fire that I didn't know about that could have been causing a dangerous situation for me, so I ended up hiking all the way into Sayad Valley that day anyways. Although the concern over a new fire woke me up a little bit, I did take a Nero. That was when I took my 4.1 mile Nero was the next day, but that just wasn't enough. I wasn't quite as tired, but I was still extremely tired after that. So I think 16 days is too long to go without a zero. I will definitely be working on that. I don't have very much farther to go because now I am in Oregon, which is my positive. I have less than 1,000 miles to go. I am in Oregon. I'm really excited that I've made it this far, and the terrain is supposed to be pretty calm for the next section here for most of Oregon. So hopefully that means that I can move quickly and give myself some more time to enjoy places I really want to enjoy. Like I plan on spending some time at Critter Lake and anything else that just seems interesting along the way, and then hopefully giving myself some buffer room for bad weather at the end of everything here in September in Washington and at the border. Hey everyone, today is day 137 on the PCT. Yesterday I took a zero in Ashland, Oregon. It was really nice to get a break. It was my first zero in 16 days of hiking. It's a bit too long. I'll be taking another zero in probably 9 or 10 days and making that timeline just a little bit shorter to give my body a chance to recover a little bit. So otherwise I'm feeling pretty good. Back on trail around 11:15 today, and Oregon is supposed to be a much more chill elevation profile, smoother trails, less technical, so hopefully I'll be able to cruise a bit. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm having some aches and pains that everybody else is having, nothing different than the expected and the normal, other than some knee pain that's like maybe patellar tendonitis or something along those lines. So I have some KT tape on my knee and some anti-inflammatories, which I think are the pill of the trail. Everybody's taking a lot of ibuprofen and stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to stop that when I get off trail at least. But yeah, it's a gorgeous day, a little bit warm, nice and sunny, and just happy to be back on trail and heading towards Canada.